Hello and bienvenue. Welcome to our podcast, Culturally Distressed, when we talk about all things culturally distressed, when we talk about cultural differences and what makes us all unique. I'm Loic Pichot. I'm your gay millennial comedian, and I have a certain experience with cultural distress throughout my life that I'm happy to share in this podcast. And I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Miyoko Sakatani.
Hello, I'm Miyoko Sakatani, and I'm a second generation Japanese American or Nisei, and I am a straight baby boomer. And I've been culturally distressed all my life.
I realized I forgot to say that I was French, originally from France, but I think most people would have guessed that. Or sometimes I got German, so who knows? Maybe people were guessing that I was German. Anyway,
Can't believe, I can't believe they mistake you for a German when you
I
start
know it
talking.
happened to me again last Friday. Can you believe it?
Wow,
Yeah.
these people need to get out a little more.
Oh, thank you. I agree with you. Anyway, how are you doing? How is your week?
Oh my goodness, fun and busy. And so,
Yeah.
our service project for the week was this wonderful organization in San Francisco called Next Village. And
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they really help elders stay in their home. So they provide them with a lot of social activities, and a lot of get-togethers. But also, every few months, they have what is called One Hard Thing. And what the members of this Next Village they submit things, household tasks, or things that are difficult for them to do. Like changing the battery in your smoke alarm,
Yeah.
and turning the mattresses around, moving furniture, cleaning. Anyway, so Richard and I went to this lovely woman who was recently widowed, and she had this beautiful home in San Francisco. 60 years. She's been there for 60 years, and so we helped change the batteries of the smoke alarms, and we did some yard work. And while we're clipping away all the overgrown foliage, I'm thinking to
Yeah.
myself, we should be doing this in our own yard. What are we
Yeah.
doing?
I mean, you should get some people to do it.
For some reason, it's a lot more fun when you're doing it for someone else.
Yeah.
And we did the leaf blower and on the breezeway, and then the garage. And anyways, we spent a couple of hours there, and we had a wonderful conversation with her, which is the best part of this whole thing, because
Yeah.
a lot of these people live alone, and she's recently widowed. So I think she just needed some company and someone to talk to. So
Yeah.
that's really the most rewarding part of the whole thing is
Yeah.
meeting, interacting with these lovely people.
Yeah. Connecting with them. Yeah, this is such a lovely initiatives. And so you mentioned like weekly service. So do you mean that you and Rich, you guys are volunteering every week usually?
I would say on average, it
Wow.
averages once a week, we find some kind of service opportunity,
That's
either,
truly amazing.
either with kids or elders, or sometimes just for the community. Like,
Yeah.
uh, have you heard of the San Francisco Chinatown night market?
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's over now for the season, but it'll
Okay.
start again next year. But it's like the second Friday evening, and they closed off the streets, and it has really, from the pandemic, Chinatown was really, really everything was closed, and
Yeah.
people weren't coming, and so it really having the night markets with the volunteers, it wouldn't have happened with without volunteers.
Yeah.
Really brought it back to life, and and they're really picking up. So
That's
very,
amazing.
yeah, really happy about that. So, what about you? How was your week?
I'm doing great. I feel like this week I'm excited. I am relaunching one of my projects. Like I told you I was working on like a sketch project.
Yes, yes.
But I had a big hurdle with TikTok. Basically, one of my video got flagged by mistake for violating community guidelines. And I think what happened is that I'm using the word queer in that video, but it was queer joy in that sense. But I think sometimes the AI, the algorithm will make some mistake. But anyway, I got flagged, had no way to appeal, and that completely tanked my whole TikTok views.
Wait a minute.
So I had to, what
For,
was
s-
it?
for the word queer,
I
because of the word
look,
queer?
I think so. I don't know actually because they don't give you detail, or I wasn't able to find details, but like that video had nothing like that could go against community guidelines. So to be honest, I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is that one character, my character actually says the word queer in it. And that's the only thing when I'm like, because I know depending on the context, queer can flag some alarm. Maybe it's something else, but if that's something else, I have no idea what it was. But anyway, what happened is that all the content for the specific sketch I would put afterwards will have less than 20 views. So basically, TikTok was dying the thing. And it's just like basically what happens when you get flagged sometimes as TikTok need to build trust again with you as a creator.
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity to take a step back, reset, and also realize that maybe my initial strategy wasn't the best design for TikTok. So I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'm shifting gears a little bit, and now that my views are getting healthier, I can launch this project. So that's kind of like it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey. I'm learning a lot about social media algorithm and trying, also learning for our podcast. We need more followers. Where are you guys? We need more people to watch our stuff. We need sponsors. We need
Where are
we need
you?
people. We need an audience.
Well,
Well,
how about you?
it's just it's any hurdle is a learning opportunity. So I'm learning, I'm improving, and doing my thing.
All right.
All right, I
And
think it's time for us to talk about the main topic for today, which is exes, breakups, all of the good stuff. I mean, this week is actually, what's the name? This week is November 11th tomorrow, which is Veterans Day, but it's
right.
also Singles Day, 1111. Have you?
Singles Day.
Yeah, it's not a thing in Japan.
No, I never heard of that.
Okay. Um, It's
What?
like I don't know. I was in marketing, and we actually used to do campaign for Singles Day on 1111. I think some countries actually celebrate more than others, but yeah, it's supposed to be a day to celebrate single people. So it's actually a perfect week for us to talk about the topic we're gonna talk about. So let's dive into it. So I know Rich is your second husband. Is that correct?
Close. It's
Close,
close.
right? No, you talked to me about something about common law. So first of all, what is it? Can you talk more about that? I want to understand first what common law is.
Well, I found out the hard way, okay?
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll tell you the story then. Before my wonderful relationship with my sweetheart, Richard, now, um, I was in my early 20s, and for some reason, I thought I would never end up with a man. I don't know if I was getting social pressure or what that whole thing is of, you got to find somebody. But anyways,
Mhm.
I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And getting very depressed because I wasn't finding Mr. Right. So
Mm.
I just decided on the whim, I'm gonna take a cruise. I'm gonna not a cruise. I'm gonna take a ocean liner from New York and go to Europe for 2 months, and
Wow.
I'm gonna meet my Prince Charming.
Oh,
So
wow. I love the
anyway,
dedication.
I got to New York, and that's a whole nother story on how I got to New York. That's for another story. And I boarded the ship, and like the first night, I met this incredible man. Turned out he worked for the CIA, and he was tall, dark, and handsome. And I thought, oh my God, I met James Bond. And he was debonair, and he was, the whole thing. So we had a shipboard romance in the middle of the Atlantic with the stormy seas.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was quite an episode. So he's from the East Coast. So he says he wanted to move to California. So I said, okay, when you come out, here's my number, blah blah blah. So, but I thought, I'm just beginning my trip. I don't want to, get tied
Yeah,
up with
commit so fast.
something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I got off and spent a couple of months on the Ural Pass and going to all the countries and stuff. Very disappointing. Uh, you know, I
What
just
what was very disappointing? Your trip to Europe?
Well, I just had this romantic notion that I would meet this
Oh,
European man and he would sweep me off my feet. Well, that didn't happen. And there were a lot of
mm.
I met a lot of gigolos actually.
Wait. So what do you mean? Like actual gigolos or more like players?
Oh, players, but I actually met an actual gigolo.
Oh my.
Uh, no, he even shared his lifestyle with me. And I
Oh
said,
wow. Okay.
I caught him on it. And I said, what's up with you? You're playing this little game with me and blah, blah. And he goes, "Oh yeah, you're a nice girl." He says, "Why don't you come over to my place, to my parents' house, and have dinner with me, and I'll tell you all about it." So I did. This was in Spain, I think.
Spain. Okay.
So I did, and he did. He told me his whole lifestyle and what the whole gigolo thing was about and everything. So, anyways, I'm getting way off course here.
But wait, I do have follow-up questions. So first of all, I love the range. I
What?
love the range. I love the range of that trip when you meet a CIA agent and then you meet a gigolo in Spain, which to me is comedy gold.
So
So you've been to a bunch of European countries. So in which I'm curious, like which country like the men treated you better?
I'm not going to say better, but I'll tell you the country that surprised me that I had the most catcalls and
Uh,
sort of
yeah.
harassment was in Germany.
Oh, interesting.
I was quite surprised by that. Uh,
Mm,
but no judgment about that. It was
yeah.
just it was a time when that just happened. I think every woman has had to experience
I
doing that.
it yeah, I remember the day I actually realized what women were going through. I was in my 20s living in Paris, and one of my Australian friends, she came to visit. And she came with her girlfriend, who was still is, I guess, absolutely gorgeous. She was like Cameron Diaz, but prettier. And I showed them around Paris. And so we were, going to like the must-see in Paris, so all the big touristic area. And I remember I was shocked by the number of men calling her out and catcalling her. And I was like, wow, is this what women experience all the time? This is insane. So yeah, definitely I can imagine that, yeah, this is not a fun experience.
Well, it's improved since the women's liberation movement and all
Yeah,
that politically correct kind of
yeah.
behavior. You still get it, but being followed in a store and it just
Hmm. Yeah.
anyway. So let's get back to my common law.
Yeah, yes, I want
So I
to.
finally came home depressed. I had no money, so I had to end up living back with my parents. And then all of a sudden, uh, in a couple of weeks, I got a letter from this James Bond, and he said
Oh,
he was in California. So let's get together. So we did, and we got together, and he was charming and everything, and we were together for 16 years, but
oh, wow.
he's half French Canadian and half Sicilian.
Okay.
What happened is we started living together.
Yeah,
I was so naive. I mean, I was just in my 20s. I didn't know
yeah.
anything. I was so stupid. Um, so just living together. So I thought, okay, I'll just change my last name. I started using his last name. We were never married or anything like that. And something, I just remembered, I got a social security card with my new with his last name. I don't know how I got it. I mean, shouldn't
And you were not married?
we were not
Eh,
married? Shouldn't I have had proof of a marriage certificate before I got a new anyway,
Oh
I
my
ended up
God.
with a social security card with that last name.
It was a different time.
We bought a house together, and then we
Oh
started
wow.
filing taxes,
Yeah.
and I used his last name, and we did this for years, and and so finally, like the tax guy sort of trapped us, or he asked him, What was the date of your marriage?" And by this time, we were ready to split up. So
Okay.
he was angry with me. So he told the tax guy, "Oh, we never got married." That, oh, and he says, "Oh, there's no such thing in California as common law marriage. Common law marriage is where you live together and you act like you're married. But
Okay.
it is legal apparently in certain states, but
Oh,
not
okay.
California." So anyway, so that was a mess. And then when we split up, it was just a mess trying to get my name back and everything else and so on. But anyways, so this is what I tell the story. So when I met him, it was the Love Boat, but our relationship turned out to be the Poseidon Adventure. It was a disaster.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Yeah. I mean,
It became very abusive. Uh,
oh, I'm
I
sorry to hear that.
was in a I didn't realize I was in an abusive relationship
Yeah.
until we ended, and I felt like my life was shattered,
Yeah.
and I just felt like I had to start all over again. But it was a great learning lesson, and to me, I worked on myself, and I did a lot of
Yeah.
healing, and I went into spirituality, and I think that's and work with energy, and I think that's what opened me up to finding my perfect partner in
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah. Because you became, if you fix your energy, you become a match to attract good thing into your life, right?
Absolutely. It works every time. So I don't harbor resentment because
Yeah.
though it was painful and I went through hell, it was actually something I needed to wake me up into my true self.
Mm.
So
And I'm assuming you're not in contact with this person anymore.
no,
Yeah.
actually, he did pass away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Okay.
But
Um,
I still sort of kept the connection with his brother and
okay.
he had two children. So I sort of occasionally I still send them a letter or so.
Okay.
So anyways, it's all good. No anger, no
Yeah.
resentment, and just actually gratitude.
Yeah. And so can I ask, so how long were you single between this man and Richard? Like how long did you take to actually like heal yourself and then being like, okay, I'm ready to date again?
Ah, geez, I would say a good 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
Good 3 years. But Richard and I knew each other. We were both nurses, so we were friends. And he was married.
Ah, okay.
Married
Okay.
when I met him, and I was still with my partner. So
Okay.
we knew each other, Richard and I, and we became friends. And actually, we became like best friends when we were still with other.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was the foundation of our wonderful relationship.
I mean, friendship is an amazing foundation for any relationship, I think.
But I got to tell you, so my partner and his partner, at some point, they said to me and to him, you know, there's something with you two. In other words, they saw the energy between us before we did.
Oh, that's fascinating.
They were jealous, and I'm wondering why are they jealous?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in this guy, and I'm already with somebody, and the same thing with him. It's like what, but
Yeah.
they saw this energy between us before we did.
Before you guys were aware of it.
Mhm.
That's that's kind of amazing, actually. I love that.
Okay, it's your turn.
Oh my
Excellent.
God, my turn. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you know, as you know, I also went through a divorce, for very different reasons. I think my ex and I were actually a very, great, we were really great friends. But I feel like we didn't bring like the best version of ourselves. Um, but after the divorce, to me, that also like opened a whole can of emotion, and I actually also found my spirituality after my divorce.
Mm.
Because we got together like we were babies. We got together and we were like 24, both of us. Been together like 13 years. And if I'm being honest, I was still struggling with a lot of stuff internally. I wasn't like, fully myself yet. I wasn't out to my family yet. I was even struggling with the artistic stuff, just saying that I wanted to be more artistic because I didn't grow up an environment with a lot of art and creativity.
Mm.
So it's just, I don't know, I had a lot of things to figure out and be honest to myself into who I wanted to be. Yeah, going through the divorce and, finding myself again, it's just, I realized, yeah, I didn't live by myself in forever.
Yeah.
I took a new job, moved to a new city, moved from SF to LA, which I wanted. I've look, it's gonna sound corny, but I've dreamed of living in LA since I'm like 10 years old. When I first moved to WeHo, I was such a mess. I moved here with my convertible. I was bleach blonde hair. You know why for a short movie, but I feel like other red flag were and it was terrible. To be honest, like I feel like to me, like I needed time before being ready to date again, but I still like feel like because I got in a relationship so young, when I
Yeah.
first moved to LA, I felt like I wanted to explore that part and I guess also like being single at like 37, I was like, oh my God, I need to jump fast, otherwise I'm getting older. But I was so not ready. Yeah, gonna take the opportunity to apologize to the first man I've been on date with when I moved to LA. I was not ready for anything serious. I was a mess. I needed to go through that phase.
So you became a blonde, and so you're ready to move on.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
I
It's
wanted
what
to
to say
share.
about gay men going,
Yeah.
gay men bleaching their hair.
So I wanted to share that we made a movie together, a wonderful movie called Distressed that Loic
Mhm.
wrote and directed, and we produced together. But one of the things in the film was we belonged to a LGBTQ plus support group, and the whole joke was that when you dye your hair blonde, then that means you're ready to move on and
To move on, yeah.
and become a slut.
Yeah, I did
So
that
did you become
for
a
sure.
slut?
That divorce life, and I must say, okay, so let's talk about this. I think that's something that I've seen everyone around me that went through a divorce, like a big breakup. You tend to have like a bit of a crazy phase
Oh yeah.
after the divorce.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I went a bit wild
Yeah.
for yeah.
Me too.
Um, yeah. But at the same time, I also invested a lot in myself. I really went deeper into spirituality, journaling, I was in therapy. And I know for me, it took me probably after after a good year
Hmm.
of working with myself, I was like, okay, now I can date intentionally, and really like being like, okay, I'm not like trying to rush anything, uh, but I'm ready to date seriously and see what happened. And then, yeah, within 6 months of that, I met Patrick, and things have been doing going
Oh,
great.
how sweet. Yeah.
Speaking of, I actually have some news to share with you, Miyoko.
What?
We actually got engaged.
Yay! So excited.
Thank you. I am excited. Yeah.
What does that mean
Uh,
when you say that? How was it officially become an engagement?
Oh, I mean, like we
A ring?
decided to get married, and
Did you exchange rings?
no, we talked about it before because like when we'll get married, we'll have like, wedding ring, but I'm not a big like ring person, so I didn't want to have two rings.
Okay.
Um, so we wanted to do like we talked about it and we were like, let's do like engagement bracelet. So yeah, so I have an engagement bracelet that I'm not wearing right now because it's at the back at the shop because it actually broke.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No, no, no.
Well,
No, okay,
anyway,
so
so the engagements happened with a conversation, or did somebody ask?
so Patrick asked the question.
Oh, he did. Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah. We were in Central Park. It was very lovely day.
cute.
He asked the question when we were on the cute little bridge on top of the lake in Central Park, if you
Oh,
know this place. And then we actually went on the boat, which was absolutely lovely. And when we were on the boat, we actually saw a good omen, which gonna sound weird, but we were just, rowing around that lake, and we saw like one of those huge bird. I forgot what it was.
or crane,
Um, was that sorry?
crane.
Maybe, but it had like a dead animal that was his prey,
Okay.
which is a good omen in certain spirituality beliefs as a sign of rebirth and renewal. So I'm gonna take that good omen and not the fact that my engagement bracelet
It's
had to
broken.
be returned.
Yes, I'll go with the dead. I'll go with the dead animal. Okay. So, oh,
Mm,
so so one of the segments of our podcast is culturally distressed moments, because we all have them, and sometimes we don't look at them like that, but I think it could be anything, any experience that you have in life where you just felt a little off or uncomfortable or something. So yeah, I'm going to go back to my ex for my culturally distressed moment, because when I met his parents back east for the first time, we were sitting there, and his father looked at me and said, "So why did you pick my son? Is it because he's Occidental?" Occidental? I never even heard of that word before. Who
oh
the
my
hell's
God.
Occidental? But anyway, I wasn't quite sure, but then it sort of like gradually clicked that it was pretty racist.
Yeah.
And so I started to tear up, actually, because
Um,
I felt that it was a pretty racist thing to say.
yeah.
And then I was wondering later, I wonder if he asked his son later, "Why did you pick her? Is because she's Oriental?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very strange, because I don't go around thinking, "Oh, I'm Asian," or "Oh, I'm Japanese."
Yeah.
Inside, I just feel like a human being. I feel like I'm an American.
Yeah.
Um, and so when it's brought to my attention that I am Asian, um, yeah, it always takes me by surprise. And then to directly get that racist kind of comment is also very, very. It's very hurtful.
Yeah, I imagine. I'm sorry to hear that this was your introduction to your previous in-laws. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
That should have been a warning sign right there.
Yeah, I know. I
And
know.
how about your CD moment?
My silly moment. I'm actually hesitating between a few, but I'm gonna do this one. My culturally distressed moment is straight comedian making bad gay jokes. That's something that I have. Okay, I have a couple pet peeves in the stand-up comedy world, and one of them is when a straight comedian will try gay jokes, but it's not smart, it's not new, and if you really like dive deeper, it's always a fear of gay sex, basically. It always comes from a fear of that.
Yeah.
And I've seen it so many times in the, the LA comedy circuit, and I'm over it. Side note, I'm not saying that straight men cannot talk about, gay men in their set. I've actually like this guy actually like did it really smartly. I've seen perform a straight comedian. His dad came out as gay, and so he had like a lot of jokes about it, which are really well done and new and inventive, which I loved.
And it's personal to him.
Yes, and it's personal, but it's always when like someone will make bad gay jokes, and it's sometimes usually from straight men. It's that really gets me culturally distressed. And usually those same straight comedians will do jokes that are like really degrading to their wives or girlfriends. It's always like
Yeah, yeah,
my wife is such a bee, and it's like do better, okay?
yeah.
So yeah, and on that same length, actually, I'm not done on this topic. Another culturally distressed moment I have
You're gonna do
is
two? Okay.
yes, but they're related
Okay.
is straight men not laughing at my jokes when I'm on stage, which is another of my pet peeves. And I'm gonna tell you something.
Oh,
One of my friend, it was in the past, and I'm not gonna name her, but she brought her new boyfriend to one of my comedy shows,
yeah.
and that man didn't laugh at all during my set. And I was like, girl, that's a red flag. But she's still with him, so
They may feel just really uncomfortable, awkward. I mean, they don't know whether to laugh or not. I don't know. I'm just,
no, I think that might happen, but I think it was something else. I think we just didn't connect, which can happen, and that's fine. To be honest, I'm just making a joke about it, but I'm just gonna say this. So, like, I'm gonna offer my services to LA single women. Um, I can tell if your man is gonna be a red flag or not if we go to one of my comedy shows, and I'm gonna keep an eye on him. I'm gonna see if he laughs out loud. I'm gonna see if he smiles a little bit, or I'm gonna see if he's very stern and closed off,
yeah.
and that's a red flag for you. If that happens, run.
You're
Just
gonna
run.
you're gonna give a service to humanity by doing that.
Right? Yeah, that's my thing. So yeah, those were my what I had in mind today that I needed to express. Um, and I think with that being said, I think it's probably time to close this off, right, Miyoko?
Sounds good to me.
All
Thank
right, thank you
you.
so much for our two listeners, Patrick and Rich, for listening to this episode. We appreciate your support as we ramp up our podcast.
Anyways, thank you for joining us so much. Sayonara. Be kind to yourself and
And be kind to others, because who knows, they might be culturally distressed as well. So thank you so much for listening. Merci.
sayonara. Aloha. Take good care.